could get used. That was almost like, I almost put that on things that I hate. Things that I love, it's black. Things that I hate, it's black. Well, the old Duramax served me well for about 10 years, but it's time for something new. So this is a 2018 Ram 3500 single wheel mega cab Cummins G56 black and black. I think that's about it.
G56 the transmission?
Yeah.
So it's 6-speed?
Diesel don't know what that is. So far all I've gotten done to it is a leveling kit. Put some 2-inch pucks in the front just to level it out. Some 35 1150 Nittos to fill out those wheel wells a little bit better. Put a tonneau cover on it, a gooseneck hitch, but it's only got about 2,400 miles on it. I've had it since February, but I've definitely had it long enough now that I know what I really love about the truck. So the first thing on my list that I really love about this truck, mega cab. And honestly, like, nobody really ever rides with me. I just think they look really sick, especially because you can get a mega cab HD truck with a full-size 6.5 foot bed. So it's a little longer than your standard crew cab, not quite as long as like a dually with a long bed, but with some 35s, I just think they look so sick. Plus, back seats, recline. I mean, you can just get your lounge on in here. The back seats fold down all the way flat, so there is a ton of room for activities back here, or car seats if you've already been involved with said activities, but either way, still cool. Another thing that I really love about this truck compared to my old truck is the fender wells on this truck are so big, and these trucks already just look bigger in general to me than like the GM that I was used to. But if you guys remember my Duramax, we had to lift that truck 6 inches just to fit a 35-inch tire on it, and it did look good, and I love the truck, but it sat so high. And this truck, honestly, these tires, you know, I said I put a leveling kit on it, but these tires will fit stock off the factory, off the dealer lot. I just put a 2-inch puck in the front just to level it out and make it look a little better, but I love that you can fit such a big tire on these straight from the factory. And if you really wanted to get funky with it, you could probably fit 37s pretty easy. I mean, there's all kind of clearance under this thing. Reason number 3 that I love this truck, and I'm not, you know, this could be number 1, primarily I bought this truck because mega cabs are cool and I wanted big tires without having to lift it so high. But Cummins turbo diesel, 6.7, this thing's got 350 horsepower, 660 foot-pounds of torque. I mean, what more can you say about it other than 6 in a row ready to tow, Roll Tide? But it's not the real reason that I bought this truck specifically, and I'll show you why. This one has a little bit of anti-theft right there where the console should be. Okay, so for all you millennials out there that don't know, this is a manual transmission. Like I said earlier, this is a G56 truck. That's the trans that's under these. Believe it or not, all the other big brands of trucks have phased these out years ago, and Ram was one of the last brands that even offered it as an option. But 2018, to the best of my knowledge, was the last year that it was an option. You can no longer buy a new Ram with a manual, or any of the big American brand trucks with a manual transmission. So I've always wanted one. I've always thought they were cool, especially in a diesel. There's a lot of fun to drive. And, you know, a lot of the pulling guys really like these, the guys that pull all the time. And I really kind of thought that I could buy the truck and take good care of it and, you know, drive it for a few years. And when I get ready to sell it, this truck is going to be pretty rare, especially the way it's optioned, because it has a manual transmission, and somebody out there will have to have this truck. thing number 4 that I absolutely love about this truck, and I know a lot of, basically all the new trucks have this, but coming from an 05 up to a 2018, obviously my old truck didn't have this, but the exhaust brake. This truck, you almost don't even have to use the service brakes. That thing will slow you down so hard, and especially with it being a manual, like you kind of have a little more control over it versus the automatic transmissions. But it really helps, especially pulling a load. Like, it really helps you get slowed down, keeps a lot of wear and tear off the stock service brakes. But mainly, this thing makes the most hellacious sounds that you've ever heard, and you gotta hear it. All right, thing number 5, the electronics. Now this Ram has the Uconnect package. You know, it's got the screen. I don't know how big it is. It's the big one, but I've never really been much for all the frills of newer trucks like this. But once you get into one and kind of get used to it, you can get spoiled. One thing I really love about it is like all your little icons down here. You know, all this is customizable. You can lay it out however you want. But like the radio, for example, is on, right now it's tuned to 104.7. Well, when you're not on the radio page, it still says what station you're on down here in the corner. Just like the nav page, if you go off of the nav page, this little icon here will change. We're currently pointed east, and as you drive, that icon will change. You know, even if you're not on that page, which I think is really cool. Even the gauge cluster here in the middle, there are so many options that you can cruise through and customize. Just very, very well thought out and very user friendly.
Cummins blip in there.
Get that little blip. Are you videoing that? We'll get the next one. Don't worry.
The next blip.
We'll get the next. We'll get the next Dodge blip. Put her on the ramp and see what she do.
See those people that do a shootout and they do things that make really no sense to anyone that has a tow rig. We're gonna see what they score on the RTI ramp.
Score. Let's go that way.
It doesn't matter.
This is the
Right's
blip.
probably better.
This is the blip.
Oh.
That's the 6-speed thing. Millennials wouldn't understand. So the 6th thing I really love about this truck, fuel mileage. I know a 6-speed helps it a lot, but this my Duramax, of course, it had a programmer on it. It was on 35, so same size tire, but I would average about 17 and a half, 18 or so. So far in this truck, and it's only got 2,300 miles on it, I'm averaging 19 and a half. So item number 7 on my list of things I really love about this truck, the steering. Anybody that's ever had a Duramax knows the steering on those, and basically the entirety of the front end, it was pretty much designed to go on like a half ton, pretty much garbage. These trucks are, straight axle, so I'm not gonna say it rides better, it doesn't. My Duramax rode a little bit better, but this truck, I'm pretty sure, would turn circles inside my old Duramax. For whatever reason, that's something to do with the straight axle. This thing turns so sharp, and really when you notice it, especially it being a longer wheelbase, is in parking lots. This thing is like in and out of parking lots way easier than my Duramax ever was.
Ty, you gonna run me over?
Honestly, I wish we had both trucks to compare. This thing turns so sharp.
Yeah.
My Duramax, I don't know that you can turn it around in this parking lot.
Right.
Got to back up. Alright, well, so you've heard the 7 things that I love about the truck. Obviously, there's some things that I hate. Number one being these stupid things. Now let me clarify before I just say I hate them. The mirror itself functions as it needs to. My problem is, come around here and look at this. So when you have these folded in non-tow mode, it's got this fisheye lens that's for like your blind spot. Well, when they're folded in, the fisheye mirror is like really tall and really skinny, which is like the opposite of what you need. So when they're flipped out in tow mode, everything's oriented as it should be, except if you drive around like this with no trailer, everybody thinks you look like a douche moose. So in addition to being hated on by everybody, if you just say you just leave them out, that way you don't have to worry about it. Everything's oriented like it needs to be. It's easier to see, it's safer. If you move these in and out, like from non-tow mode to tow mode, you have to readjust every piece of glass on it. Now the top portion here on both sides is power, obviously, but the fisheye lens is not. So when you flip these out, like you hook up a trailer, flip them out and get ready to pull something, you got to readjust every mirror, versus like the GM and the Ford style that they just extend. The mirror is like it is, and it just extends out a little bit so you can tow, which is a much better design. Now, like, do these look cool? I think they look pretty good flipped out. It's just, you can't run around getting hated on. All right, thing number two that I so far absolutely hate about this truck is the cup holders. Now, I know I've got to live with that a little bit because I did choose to buy a manual, and that does kind of change, you know, the interior layout a little bit, but why? I mean, the cup holders are like down at the floor. Like if I'm driving, I can't even reach my cup. They're so low to the floor. Number one, there's two cup holders over here on the passenger side and none on the driver's side, which makes no sense. And then cup holder number three is right here behind the stick, which is fine until you go into overdrive, and then nothing will even go there. So like, what's the point? Now, I think they did kind of try to like make up for that a little bit, and they put these little foam inserts here in the door panel that is supposed to serve as a cup holder, but not really. Like, all that's really good for is your splitter, I guess. Anyway, on by. Too loud. And there's another Dodge. All right, thing number three that I hate are the lights. Now, I like specifically wanted a Laramie because the upper trim levels of these trucks have these really cool looking projector style headlights. But other than looking cool, it's about the only purpose they serve. Like, these lights in the dark are sorry. I'm actually kind of surprised that they even pass like whatever kind of legal standard there is for light output, but headlights and fog lights on running at night, it's very, I mean, I see well, I have pretty good vision, and it's pretty poor visibility. I can't believe they're that dim. To go along with that, the cab lights, now that was a deal breaker for me. I had to have those. So this truck had them. Unfortunately, the housings themselves are made of some kind of cheap plastic, and the housing has a flat base, and you can see they're screwed down on a roof panel that's curved. So, and it's a notorious problem with these, apparently, according to the internet, that if you tighten those down, basically just barely past finger tight, you'll crack the housing. And when the housing cracks, they get full of moisture because the seal's been broken. And I had one, there wasn't 200 miles on the truck, full of water. And without having to go through all the hoops of warranty work, I just took it off, siliconed it up, fixed it myself, and so far so good. But just kind of a poor design. Like, a truck that costs this much, the lights ought to be acceptable. Reason number four, things that I hate about this truck: no remote start. I mean, this is 2018, for crying out loud. What are we doing? And I know, don't even comment at me. The reason is because it's a 6-speed and I picked that, but come on, it's 2018. Get with it. All right, thing number five that I hate about this truck. This truck, as it sits, the way it's optioned, has a gross combined weight rating of 24,300 pounds. Now, why does a truck that can pull that much weight not come factory with a gooseneck hitch? Are you supposed to pull that on your bumper or something? Makes no sense to me. Now, I know these trucks come, you can from the factory, they have like a gooseneck prep package that basically all it is the bed comes with some pre-drilled holes in it and some rubber plugs that you can take out and drop in a hitch or whatever. But again, I'm buying this truck to pull stuff with. Like, it should come factory prepped with the hitch. Sixth thing I hate, the badging. Now, the Ram badge on the front and on the tailgate, I kind of like it. It's not that bad. It's kind of big and obnoxious. Just like this. Kind of big and obnoxious. Like, this is the ugliest badge I've ever seen on any truck. Like, I don't know why would you stick that on the side of a beautiful truck like this? Those are coming off pronto. And also, come on, Mopar, is this not the same 4x4 badge y'all been using since like 1993? This is a 2018. Let's change it up a little bit. All right, the seventh and probably the biggest thing that I hate about this truck is the stock clutch. Now, again, like, I bought this truck because it was a 6-speed, but what's so goofy to me is the clutch in this. Now, Dodge started putting a G56 in these trucks in like 2006, I think. Somebody correct me on that in the comments. But it has essentially not been updated at all, other than one minor change, I think, with the hydraulics in like 2012 since that time. And we all know what's happened to diesel motors since then. Believe it or not, this truck from the factory is detuned compared to its automatic twins. Now this truck, this is my cheat sheet, the G56, which is this, comes stock 350 horsepower, 660 pound-feet of torque. Sounds like a lot. The 68 RFE is 370 horsepower and 800 foot-pounds of torque, and the Astin automatic is 385 horse, 930 pound-feet of torque. So the Astin automatic, compared to this, has 270 more pound-feet of torque from the factory. It's a little ridiculous. The bonus of these is that you can drop in like $1,000 or $1,500 clutch and basically do whatever you want to these trucks, versus dropping $5 to $8 grand in an automatic to build it just to hold a little bit more power. All right, well, now you've heard 7 things I love and 7 things I hate about this new truck. So I've only had it, like I said, about 2,400 miles. So is there something I've missed? Like, what are some things that you guys love or hate about these Cummins trucks? Let us know in the comments. You think we ought to do one of these on Matt's new 6.7 Power Stroke? Yeah, I think so, for sure. And stay tuned, because might do a little modifying on this. And I know one thing I'm probably gonna do is flip them tow mirrors up and just ride around. Don't care what y'all think.
Looks like you're saying stop, don't shoot. Is this a political thing now, Carter?
Yes.
Ginger lives matter.
Ginger lives matter.